Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tarda Zones, the Mandalorian Season 2, The Tragedy. Sorry for the delay. Right, before we actually start, I might as well just let you know what's going on. So it hasn't been really the best of weeks. Let's just say that the recent stuff that's been happening has had a bit of effect in my home life, resulting in my wife having an episode where she ended up collapsing and banging her head. It's been because of that I haven't been sleeping well. Cheryl's sleep patterns all over the place as well. It's just I've been ignoring it the last couple of days, as you know. I said it. I'm just going to ignore it, but it's still, it's still in my face, still happening. I did a gaming stream the other night, minding my own business on my second channel, and I had people come on and attack my wife. It hasn't been a great week for either of us, but we carry on as we always do. It shouldn't, look, at the end of the day, all these things that we talk about are TV shows, and the fact that there are certain people out there that go to extreme lengths to make people's lives a misery and to upset family members I just can't get my head around that. I really can't. I get accused of all sorts of stuff in this fandom. But anybody that knows me knows I don't engage in all of that, because I know what it's like firsthand, because I've been getting it for the last 3 years. Ever since Jodie Whittaker was cast and I gave a different opinion than certain people out there, they haven't liked me. And it's been a constant thing for 3 years. And, it's starting to affect, it's not just affecting me and Cheryl, we've seen it as well. It's spilled overboard and started affecting people that we even know in the chat, people that are YouTubers as well, that do stuff. They're being attacked because their association with me. We've seen certain YouTubers out there have articles go to those media outlets to try and discredit me. We've seen all this the last couple of months, but yeah, I get accused of all this, that, and the other. Not one of them provides one bit of shred of evidence, and I do all the time. It's absolutely ridiculous that I have to keep defending myself, but I won't be doing it anymore, because for the simple reason is I can't be dealing with this crap all the time. If people want to call me a liar, if people want to say this, that, and the other, let them. Just let them. I mean, you know what I mean? Who are they really screaming to anyway? The people that hate me. So let them. You know what I mean? It hasn't affected the channel. The channel's grown strong. So, we've built a nice little community here. So why should we let a few haters out there ruin it for the rest of us? And you know what? It's not worth all the drama. It's not worth getting stressed about, because I have to be honest, when you've been constantly under attack, it does get very stressful. And I have let a bit of stress get to me. I had a bit of an outburst last week off air, which I wasn't very proud about, but it happens, and I shouldn't be getting myself that annoyed about certain people out there. At the end of the day, I think I've been vindicated so far, and again, it's not even about that anyway. All I put out is rumor and speculation. If some people can't handle that and they keep going around calling it fact, well, then that's their problem. It's not mine. So let it be their problem. Let them scream into the wind. let them scream to whoever they want to. We're going to move on and do what we do on this channel. And tonight, we've got The Mandalorian. So I know it's late. So that's the reason why I haven't been about. And I just want to say, if Rabbi is watching later, because I know he watched the stream the last time. So if you're watching, I just want to say to you, sorry for not being there for the quiz, but I'll definitely be there next week. Don't you worry. We've got to try and extend that lead, you know, and stay ahead of you. We have a big Christmas one then. See if I can beat you then. So yeah, and I'll see you the weekend anyway. So yeah, so I just thought I'll explain before I start, because you know, obviously I didn't show up on Rabbi's channel, so I did in fact let him down, but I hope that explanation is good enough. Well, it should be, because yeah, I think he's have all been here with me. He's have all have seen what's been going on. I just want to be able to do stuff like this, guys. You know, Mandalorian, even Disney Plus now apparently have announced that they're expanding the Star Wars universe on Disney Plus. I mean, Mandalorian is good to me, so I'm actually pretty excited to see what they have planned. That's just me personally. You know, it could all turn out to be crap, but right now the Mandalorian I think is doing very well. So why not expand it? But I'd go slow, you know. I wouldn't want them to be rolling out show after show. If you're going to roll out another show, whatever it is, if it's the Obi-Wan one or whatever one they've decided to do first, do that one, wait until that one's a season or two in until it's settled, and then go and roll again. You don't want to overextend yourself, because, you know, what will happen then is that you'll have so many shows, right? But then all those showrunners will want to make all those shows, well, they will connect, obviously, but they'll want to put their own little thing in it to make it connect, you know what I mean? And that's where it gets all complicated, because that's where they can start messing it up. So for me, they have to do it nice and slow. Right. I don't know if we're going to have much of a panel tonight for this, because obviously we're late. So if there's anybody that does want to be on the panel, just press 1 on your keypad there. Let us know. I already know who's coming on anyway, so I'll send the first invite out. Yeah, this is probably one of the toughest weeks I've had as a YouTuber, to be quite honest with you. And that's saying a lot. Kip Ellis with a 149 super sticker. I'll have to check on my phone and see what it is. Hold on. Lee, I send you your email there, because we know you're coming on for the review. Just give us a second. I'll scroll through the chat now in a second, guys. I just want to see what this super sticker is. And it's a unicorn with rainbows. Deadly. Thanking you. That'll cheer Cheryl up. She loves unicorns. I'm good. It's just one of those weeks where I don't know. It's just been one thing after another, really. And you know, I think I've done pretty well over the last couple of months, considering. But just the last 2 weeks, especially, it's just been a lot more relentless. Yeah, but we move on. You know, we're here for Mandalorian, so I haven't seen it, so I decided. Cheryl has seen it, but she hasn't. She's very good. She won't tell me what's going on. But but I'm going to watch it and react live. Obviously, I wanted to. I think it turned out better that way. It wasn't planned, but to be honest with you, Cheryl would rather watch, because when we watch it together, I can't stop talking. I really can't on a disaster, if I'm honest. So yeah, so she got to watch it on her own. So I'll be reacting live. So that'll be good. So we've got Lee with us, so we'll bring Lee on until we find out who else wants to come on.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm all right. Good to see him. Well said earlier. Absolutely spot on. Fuck them. Fuck the haters. Move on. Move forward. And just pretend they don't exist. That's better.
That's it. It's better in the long run. Look, when we did that a few months back, it was great. It was real peaceful. So let's just look and let them say what they want, right? And it doesn't matter anyway. As I said, none of the stuff that I'm putting out, have I ever said it's fact? No. So, like, why should I be getting, you know what I mean? I'm not getting upset about
it's just any excuse. Like, they've made their choice. It doesn't make any logic or reasonable sense. They just decide, oh, well, we're just going to hate on you regardless, and anything you say will always be suspect, dubious, blah, 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 all the rest of it. So,
yeah,
listen, you're not their audience.
Exactly.
You've got an audience, so who cares what they think, frankly?
Exactly. So who else wants to come on the panel tonight? I see Tim. Sorry, I call him Tim because we just can't say your name, mate. Just I'm not even going to try anymore. Right, so, like, if you want to come on, I'm sure there's a way we can get the link, the episode here. We'll figure something out. Or you can just come on and chat. I seen Charlotte there earlier. I know she leaves at 10. So before she does leave, if she hasn't left already, I want to say thanks for popping in, and good night when you do leave, if you are leaving. Now I'm rambling on now. That's what I do, but like,
ramble away.
I was going to say Iron Lady again, but I better not start that crap again.
You're digging yourself a giant hole with that one, I tell you.
Oh no. I don't mean it in a bad way. I mean, Charlotte is quite resilient.
Is there a good way?
That was the Iron Lady. So,
is there a good way? Hope she's not from Grantham. That would be just a bit on the nose.
No, that would be yeah. And let's hope our father didn't own a little shop either.
And wasn't a priest or a vicar or whatever it was. Yeah, that would be a bit. Yeah,
that would be
spooky. Yeah.
Right, so Tim will join us, so I just have to send him an email if I can remember. Right, hold on. I'll get this now.
Yeah, he says.
Lovely.
Oh yeah, about your lead.
Yeah. About me what?
Your lead in the quiz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What you lost?
It's all PD Rich's fault.
You hold on though. Hang on. So I wasn't there, but you played for me.
Well, Dan had to, obviously, worked hard on producing the questions.
Right, hang on. So you couldn't do a separate one for that week. You had to continue on, and you lost.
We were in the lead until towards the end.
So hold on, am I losing again? It was a draw last week, wasn't it? Or is it
you won last week? No, you won. I think you won last week. Yeah,
I won last week, and I lost this week, even though I didn't play. But that's my fault.
Well, that's your fault. See, that's not my fault.
Right, but still,
everyone else's fault.
Do you notice something though? The first week that he was on with Rabbi, right? He was fantastic. Yeah, he comes on and comes on for me, and he's shit. Then he replaces me, and he loses again. Which,
conspiracy theory. God. Well, it gives you something to fight for next week, then, doesn't it? Yay!
Well, we know who we won't be picking for me, believe me. I'm only messing. What was the final score?
I think it was something like 24-16. But we were leading. We were leading until the last.
That's a slaughter match. What? Yeah.
Yeah, but we got
24-16.
You know how it is. I got all of Rich's questions. He got all of my questions. It's just like typical the way it just works out. That's the way it was. And we got a round on comic books. And listen, I'm no comic book man whatsoever.
Well, I'll say to PD Rich, thank you for representing Team Torchwood. It's a pity you didn't have a captain. That was. How the hell did you? Oh man, 24-16. That's badly. I think we lost. Wasn't that the third week or something? I lost 24-16.
But we were doing really well. We were leading the first 2 rounds. Like it was going our way.
So you did the picture round great. You did the picture round great and all, yeah.
Yeah. We won that one.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah, it's a kicker.
Next week it's on. But here, look who we have with us, joining us. It's Tim. I did see Ninja Knight actually floating about on Twitterverse, and I think he is back. It'll be interesting actually to hear, because he hasn't been on for a few weeks, because obviously he's been on the move. We'll see if he wants to come on actually.
Yeah.
Hey guys.
How are you?
Well, not too bad. How are you?
Oh, I'm not too bad. I will survive.
Could be better. Could be worse.
As long as I'm with the bigs, I know I will survive.
There you go. Good to chat with you guys. It's been a while.
Yeah, it has.
Well, Ninja Knight posted a video 10 minutes ago, so must still be awake, I guess.
I hope so. Well, we'll find out. We'll find out now. Ninja just dropped the video.
I'm being told off by Chris. Well, there's some brother loyalty there. There's some wrench loyalty going on there. Not! How dare you? No, it was literally every person's fault apart from mine.
Oh, God. I hear that all the time. Yeah, your super's ready, love. See, I can do several things at the same time.
Noel, the multitasker. The multitasker.
There you go.
Yeah, it's a thing.
Right, Cheryl, you do notice onions in your fucking mushroom soup. Do you ever read the packet? She's allergic to onions, yeah, but the woman seems to be attracted to everything that either has onion powder in it, onions, or onions.
Oh, it's like my grandmother. She always couldn't stand garlic, and like everything that I would get had to have some sort of garlic salt or something in there, hidden away down in the ingredients, like in the tiny amounts, but she would still notice it. It was just like, oh my
well, here's the thing. She loves garlic. She loves onions. She's just allergic to them.
Not good.
I have the same problem with garlic and onions. Actually, I love the flavor, especially cooking with shallots, and I like to cook, and my wife obviously loves garlic and pasta and all that stuff. We both do, but boy, I tell you, even if it's one of the lowest level ingredients, I always have the heartburn afterwards.
Yeah, heartburn is a thing that I suffer with a lot, and for me, it's really difficult to try and track down exactly what it is, but. Yeah, it's usually garlicky things, or not always. It's really weird. It comes on or it doesn't. Apparently, Chris was defending me there. Sorry, Chris. I should have known better.
I love me garlic. I did egg fried rice last week here, and I must have used about 3 cloves of garlic or something, just because I just love garlic, right? And cooked it up. There was the smell of garlic in the gaff for about how long? About 3 days or something. Yeah. Just love garlic. Carol loves it as well, and she was smelling. Oh, it's lovely, but she can't have it. She just can't. And I'd hate that. I'd actually hate to be allergic to something that I really like.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would die if I was allergic to chocolate. I think that would be the end for me. It really would. There would be no reason to live.
Oh my God, chocolate. Yeah, not a big fan of. Yeah, man. Yeah.
I think for me, it'd be ketchup or wine. Those would be the two that would.
I
damn
can't.
me.
That's one thing I can't. I can't drink. I can drink some wines, but I can't drink red wine. If I drink red
Yeah.
wine, I get instant heartburn. It's
Oh,
just
my
like,
wife, when she drinks the red wines, she gets the major headaches. She gets like migraines, but she can drink white to a certain extent, and
yeah,
even some whites
cheap
cause
wine.
problem.
Cheap red wine I'm okay with. It's the expensive stuff that gives me heartburn.
Sure.
And
Really?
It's cheap white wine that I can drink, but I can't drink champagne.
Cheryl's the same though. She gets wine, and I wouldn't even mind. She doesn't buy cheapy wine. Like it does be good wine, and every time she'll end up with a massive headache or something, and it
Yeah,
just
that's too bad.
disagrees with her. It's ridiculous. I used to drink red wine, a lot of red wine.
I can't remember the last time I actually had any alcohol. It's
Yeah.
really weird.
Heartburn. Always got heartburn, but I always drank it.
I can recall. I'm drinking it right now. I have a wine cellar, so I love I love my wines.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, it's nice to be able to drink that kind of stuff, but for me, no. Give me a scotch and.
I like Scotch too,
Yeah.
but I am Scottish, so
Well, there you are. Yeah.
at least 2 generations back, my grandmother is Scottish, my grandfather's English.
I've got no Scottish whatsoever, as far as I'm aware. I've got everything else.
Oh, if it's not Scottish, it's crap.
Crap.
My grandmother was the redhead, and I'm the only one in 3 generations to be a redhead. So
Lucky Daniel's not around to hear that Scottish accent.
yeah, he'd give me a hard time.
I'll have you know, mine is fabulous. Absolutely spot on. Every damn time.
That's not bad.
Yeah, see, you're loving it. I can tell. Yeah, I'm great.
Right, do we want to get going on this? Yeah.
Sure, if you want to.
I
No word from the ninja knight.
I don't think there's anybody else going to be joining us tonight. Again, I do want to apologise to the normal panelists that would be on with us. As I said, it has been a bit of a rough time lately, but onwards and upwards, as they say. We'll continue to do what we do, and we're going to have a bit of fun along the way. And Christmas is only around the corner, so we have plenty planned, as you know. Hold on, let me see. Good news. This is from Chris. He says, Gary just reported that it's official. Robert Rodriguez is set to make a woke female Zorro film.
Hey, I might actually watch that. Woman running around in a skimpy outfit, swinging a sword. Why not?
Yeah, could be fun.
Yeah, it's not going to be ever like that.
Tight pants?
True, but PD Rich is in the chat. If you want to come on, let me know. Actually, before we start, we haven't even started yet. If you want to come on and watch The Mandalorian, we're watching The Tragedy. That's the episode that we're on. So yeah. Do you know what though? I mean, here's the thing. As I said I've been saying for a while now, we're gonna have to start judging, there has to be some sort of, this is not going anywhere, what I'm trying to say, right? All of this stuff that you want to inject into movies, TV shows, not going away anytime soon. So us as a viewer now, we'll have to come up with some sort of, not a rating system as such, but we'll have to pick and choose our shows. Just look there are some shows that do have woke elements in it, like The Orville, for example. But if they're written well, directed well, we watch, we invest. You know what I mean? So this Zorro film, it might sound ridiculous. But Robert, whatever his name is, Rodriguez, he's a good director.
Yeah, he's good. I like him.
So, and I like his style of filmmaking. So I wouldn't be knocking this on the head straight away until you see some sort of trailer and see how ridiculous it is. And if it is ridiculous, then you ignore it. Simple as that. It's not for you. Someone else will watch it. But it doesn't necessarily mean that this is going to be bad. Someone says you need a woke mirror. There you go. I know that sounds stupid, but that's how you'll have to judge TV shows and movies from now on, by your own standards, what you believe is too woke or is acceptable to you. And that's the way it's going to be, unfortunately. So I think we have to start thinking like that in those terms, because this thing is not going away anytime soon. Trust me, it's not. And, you know, I think that's the way to go. I mean, look, at the end of the day, you've seen it already. They're releasing movies on streaming services. Now people can actually, this is the thing though, that the TV industry probably looked at. But now, if you don't want to watch Wonder Woman 1984, well, then you don't get HBO Max. Do you know what I mean? You don't buy the subscription. If you don't want an extended universe of Star Wars, you don't get Disney Plus. You know what I mean? If you don't want to watch the new James Bond movie, whoever ends up getting it, I don't know who, if anybody has got it, but it will go there. Whoever gets it, you don't have to watch that if you don't want to. You don't have to pay the money to watch that if you don't want to. So this is another thing that they probably have, well, they probably have anticipated some, but this is going to be a lot worse for them, because let's be honest here, the general audience, the public have turned away. Even sales were down before pandemic hit. They were saying the cinemas were already in trouble anyway. And why are they in trouble? Because of the shit that they're making. So, I mean, look, at the end of the day, we don't have to buy any of these streaming services. We don't have to watch any of these things. And that's how we send a message. But people have to be willing to do it.
Yeah.
Some that will get the subscription because they're going to review it and rant about it. But you're still giving them your money. You're not making your point. You know, you got to lead your audience. If you're going to say if you're going to tell everybody on your channel not to support a certain movie, well, then you must lead by example. There are other ways to watch this movie and to review it. We all know that. So I mean, I just don't get it. It was the same when the Star Wars franchise, the movie franchise, you had people going buying tickets to go and watch it. Why buy tickets, go and watch it when you can wait for it to come out and then you can review it? He's all in a hurry to review it. It'd be better doing it that way. Then you're not giving them you're not giving anybody any money. It's all money. You've got to hurt them, and that's what I'm saying. This streaming services thing, look, they think there might be some sort of advantage.
I think it's going to backfire. It's going to backfire spectacularly. The reason being, people are squashed for cash. People are squashed because the choices are, you've either got to subscribe to tens and tens of bloody streaming services, which can range anywhere from like £6 to 15 quid or whatever it is a month, and people just simply can't afford to do that. So there might be a couple of winners, there might be a couple of losers. Hello, Rich. But ultimately, they're going to have to start thinking a bit more across the board, because when one goes down, they're going to start wondering, well, how are we going to compete? And then you're going to end up in a situation where there's going to be one clear winner above all else. And if they don't get their films or TV shows on that subscription, even though they've got their own one, which is failing or won't have as many subscribers, you're going to have to think, well, do we start putting our stuff on there as well? Because you're not going to get your stuff seen. And people simply can't afford to keep subscribing. And, when everything else in the world now is subscription model or going that way, it's just simply untenable. And unfortunately, they're going to be winners, they're going to be losers. But ultimately, I think it's incumbent upon the viewing public to decide who gets their money and who doesn't. And I think it's important that people should try and think, well, which studio is giving me the most value for money and listens to its fans and provides them this unwoke crap, like something that isn't woke, and which one you want to see go bankrupt for not listening.
Here's the thing. Well,
he's right.
How much did they actually pay for Wonder Woman 1984? because this is another thing as well, right? So the streaming service that wants to show this to get the exclusive, right, has basically paid for this movie, right? So they've paid whatever they've paid for. I don't know. Does anybody know? Right, so they have to try and make that back in subscriptions or special viewings or whatever.
They won't make that money
No
back
way,
straight away.
because
No,
as you said yourself as well, HBO Max as well. Remember,
They're
HBO
hedging their bets
global.
currently.
It's not global either. So I mean, I don't know how they think they're going to make all of this money. As Lee said, then they start renting it out to other streaming services. Is that the way it's going to go? They'll rent them out
They'll have to license it
for a
out.
limited run, and then that's it.
Maybe.
You know, we're getting into a whole mess. But listen, this is the future. If this thing that's happening around the world is not under control, if this thing that they're rolling out, I'm not mentioning it because YouTube are very strict now. You can't even talk about what's happening in America now. They're taking down videos that they think are false. But I'm not getting into it. All I'm just saying is you have to be careful. But if this thing works, right, okay, then what's going to happen? How far ahead have these streaming services, these and the movie industry thought ahead? Because what happens?
They haven't thought about it.
No,
They're literally hedging their bets. That's what they're doing. Look, this is untested water. HBO is pulled the trigger on this with Warner, and listen. This is gonna ramp up, the media equivalent of a arms race, right? So it's going to be very hectic. They're going to be trying to compete. This may be a good thing. It may not be a good thing. The thing is, it really depends on the price. So the pricing war on these things is going to be interesting. But I think the big winners will be those who don't wokeify things. Those who are going to continue down that road, they're going to lose out. So they have to start thinking competitively now, and they simply can't compete with a model that clearly has been rejected by the vast majority of the movie-going audience. So I think it's untested water. They're hedging their bets at the moment, and I don't think anyone has a clue what they're doing, quite honestly.
Right. So what I've just been told this. So what'll happen is when Wonder Woman 1984 drops, right, they will actually ask their HBO Max subscribers to basically pay $20 for the movie, and then they'll have a limited showing of that movie for $20. And then obviously, like TV, it'll be released next year. It'll be released then for everybody then.
Who's gonna pay $20 to rent a movie?
I'm certainly not.
No way. Absolutely no. And people with families, people who have a lot of outgoings are not going to want to pay $20 to rent a movie.
They did with Mulan. I don't know how that went. No,
I don't think that was a very successful thing. I don't know.
No,
does anyone know anybody who did that?
They did the same with Frozen 2 as well. So I don't know how well they actually did. But
it might work. It might work in a good economy when things are going great. At the moment, I just don't see it.
I agree with you, but this is the way they're going to do it, and it'll be interesting to see will people fork up the money. And it is the next few months. I'm telling you now. But
if they do that, that is elitism, right? You're holding this out for people who can afford it, and there's going to be people who can't. People who may have been able to afford cinema tickets. Cinema tickets are pricey as well. But I mean, really, it's not the same sat at home where people are already fed up with sitting at home all day anyway. I just don't see it. I just think it's a different experience. If you're paying to go to the cinema, you're paying for the experience to go out, right? It's a family thing, and that's why you do it. But if you're paying to sit at home and pay $20 for something that, if you waited a few months, would go out and buy, either rent the video or buy the video back in the day for what, $3 or $4, $5. Don't know what it is in America, but I mean, you go out and pay a few quid to go out and rent a video, or whatever. People are going to end up, listen, if they're going to start putting this stuff out on TV in digital format, and you have to rent it, these things are going to be pirated so damn fast.
Yeah.
And that is going to be the biggest problem they're going to have beyond anything else. It's going to be really difficult for them to, unless they come up with some special encrypted thing. But even then, people work around these things. There is no way they're going to be able to copyright protect these films. And I think that I just don't see people wanting to pay that kind of money. And like, if it's going to be movies, you know, I mean, they're going to be competing across various different platforms. People have to subscribe to various different providers, and then on top of that, pay to rent out a film for a limited period of time. Yeah, I think people are more likely to sit around waiting for it to come out in physical release or you know, to purchase.
And the big thing we can't see where it is going to come on terrestrial TV in like 5 or 10 years' time. You got the terrestrial trickle down as well.
I think they're underestimating how important this movie is to the movie-going audience. I think that it's unimportant. People really don't care. They don't care about a Wonder Woman 2. I think that, yeah, sure, it was nice to go see in the theater when it first came around because, well, who doesn't want to look at Gal Gadot? And Chris Pine still pulls in the female audience. So you had a great opportunity there, and they took it. I just don't think that with everything that's going on in the world today, they're going to shove it onto a streaming service. They're going to charge for it. This is not going to be successul at all. Quite the opposite. I think this is going to implode. And
I think it's sat on the shelf for too long as well. People,
it has.
Already, I mean, it's already leaked what the plot is anyway. From a lot of people talking about it online. You know, that not a lot of people seem very keen on the storyline.
And people aren't buying the Happy Meals anymore. People aren't buying. That was out like last year. So all of the marketing that was spent on this, the millions of dollars in marketing, was a year or a year and a half ago. And people just don't care. They're not going to be that excited to go see it. I think that the people who are going to go see it are the fanboys, the people who are comic book fans, the people that love DC Comics, and they might spring for that. I'm a big, huge comic fan and a comic book collector, and I'm not. So, and I'm not poor. I have a job that I'm lucky that I get a paycheck every 2 weeks. But you know, there are millions of people out there right now who are worried about where their next paycheck is coming from. That's a huge factor in this.
Yeah, I think people are going to be a lot more cagey because of the uncertainty going on in America right now. I just don't think people are going to be that casual with their finances. And entertainment is going to be very low on their list of priorities in the coming months.
Going into a very dangerous days, aren't we?
Yeah, I think people are very, very.
Hollywood don't realise how dangerous it's going to be. I think.
Well, Hollywood is one of the reasons why people are
exactly.
Yeah, I mean, people are pretty fed up, and what this period of time has shown is that people are quite comfortable with doing other things, making their own entertainment, learning new skills, which I think has been kind of, you know, because there's only so much you can keep watching if you're forced to stay indoors. And people sort of got a bit more creative, you know, got
I'm
more
looking
creative
forward
with their
to
families.
seeing the effects that this kind of a situation is going to have on piracy. We're going to see a lot more of that. I think we've had a serious problem in the last decade, and I've investigated several of those piracy claims, right? Big time. And this is $1 billion industry out there for people who are pirating this. And if you can get it for free, why would you spend $30, $40, $20, $10 to see this on your streaming service you're already paying?
When North Korea is giving it to you for free.
Right. I think that's it's going to be an interesting experiment to see how this new streaming services theater. It's kind of like, so you either go to a streaming services to get your theater effects, your theater, your fun, or you go to an actual movie theater. And I think that it'll be interesting to see the experiment that this is going to have on the rest of the streaming services and what they're going to do. Obviously, that they're leading the way here with doing putting a blockbuster movie. This is a a $500 to $1 billion movie, and they're going to put it on a streaming service for you to view for $20 or $30 or whatever it's going to be. So
Yeah.
I can't wait to see how this is going to go.
Well, Radio Times just dropped an article that says Disney has announced plans for 10 new Marvel series and 10 new Star Wars series, but there is a cost. Subscription prices will increase.
There we have it.
There you go.
I think that's the exact opposite to what they should be doing. They should have a limited number of things that they should focus on the quality of those things, and lower the price of their subscriptions. If you lower the price of the subscriptions, you get more customers.
I know.
The more you increase the price, and the more you increase the output that you're putting out, which increases your overheads to create these things, which you're not going to get return on, because you're not going to get the subscriptions, because people simply won't be able to afford it if you increase the price. You're limiting your audience options, and I think that is a dangerous move by Disney. I think it's a knee-jerk response to what HBO is doing, and I doubt even half of those movies will come to fruition, quite honestly.
How can people afford 10 different streaming services?
Exactly, that's my point.
This problem at the moment, the gaming. You've got Epic Games trying to push their platform, and it's just not working.
Yeah,
They're not going to beat Steam. I'm sorry.
They don't get it. These people are so far removed from reality.
I know.
They just do not understand the everyday person's situation. There are going to be winners, there are going to be losers. And I don't think, unless Disney makes more content for beyond PG-13, they aren't going to win. They have to expand their audience. And yeah, I mean, it's great for families with small kids and the rest of it. But, I really think it's a very limited market. I think a lot of people...
Touchstone Pictures Day, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They
a lot of people are over.
Sorry, mate.
They're over Disney. I think the Disney magic is gone. They don't have the parks the same way that they used to have. There's going to be a big collapse in that market. So that's one way that they use to market the experience. Is seemingly choked, and I think. The Marvel movies, they've underwhelmed pretty much even the most hardcore fans of Marvel with these slate of films that they've got lined up. I mean, the MCU it's not exactly inspired a lot of interest, other than YouTube is going to rip the shit out of it. I think the big winner out of this at the moment is going to be Twitter and HBO.
Yeah.
And I think anyone else who's trying to compete with that knows they've already lost and are making empty promises, as far as I can see. They're going to try and stump up their prices because they think that this is what they don't understand. This is why Trump's economy was so successful, was because he understood you don't raise the taxes. Exactly. You lower the taxes, and that increases public spending.
Yeah.
By raising prices of your subscriptions, you're limiting your public spending. People who want to spend money on that kind of thing. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, that's how Japan got out of the last recession, by the way. They made more jobs available, dropped taxes, and got everyone spending money.
Exactly. That's how I see it. People, and now if you have Biden coming in, who's going to raise taxes, they are not going to have that extra income to spend on entertainment. It's going to be one streaming service, if any at all, and then they'll have to choose one.
We can't forget what effect that COVID is going to have on the economy in the coming years. There's been a lot of spending going on, so a lot of governments throughout the world, not just the United States, but the Brits, the Canadians, the Australians, everybody else that's out there listening to us in the chat. Their governments have been spending to try to help people who are in dire straits. So when a large
businesses are being squeezed out, and
your middle class is in dire straits here, and they're not going to be able to afford spending $30 on a Wonder Woman movie that's probably going to be mediocre at best.
Exactly.
People can't afford to live. That's got to be the priority. And
no one's talking about Wonder Woman. No one's talking about it. All they're talking about is is the Snyder cut. That's the one, and that's still, people are still talking about that. No one's talking about Wonder Woman. People are still
which I
excited
find
for the
hilarious,
Snyder
actually, that
Yeah.
people are talking about the Snyder cut, because I'm kind of neutral on it. I
Mhm.
think that it's an outstanding idea. You bring him back, you do this, you make it a whole new movie, really, and you
Well, they listen to the
learn from your
fans.
mistakes.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the fan, and that's the thing that we're missing here too. Is this is a fan-driven a dream? It's a fantasy. It's an opportunity for them to take a look at what mistakes they made. All the feedback they've had from YouTubers out there, great YouTubers who have said this is the problem with your movie. There's been a lot of critics too who've said that, this is what you need to fix. So there's an opportunity there to go back to something
And
and
Disney
make it
needs to
good.
learn that as well. If
Yeah,
Disney
really.
doesn't understand that, if they can't look at HBO and go, right, they listen to the fans, that's going to be like the same thing that happened with the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. They listened,
Yeah.
they had a hit movie. Disney doesn't listen to anybody, and they have effectively flops. They may make large amounts of, $1 billion, but they could have made an extra billion, right? And their expenses and overheads, they lose money, really.
Hey, that
And-
was a movie that I would have never have thought to go to. But you know what? My wife and I both enjoyed it very much, which is funny as heck, because we said, we're not going to this, and look at it, it's a mess. But the studio, the director, they all went back to the drawing board and they made it better. So hey, here's my $20, or here's my $30.
And I think
right?
that's a great thing. That shows
Good customer service.
that not only that, but it shows the audience as well, who acknowledge what they did and reward them with their hard-earned cash, even if it's something they wouldn't normally see. But they see what's happened, and they support that. And I think that if Hollywood can relate that back to themselves and go, well, these people are willing to reward integrity, right, rather than trying to ram through this hideous distortion of reality to its audience, who aren't willing to pay for being lectured at, that they will succeed. They can succeed. Disney needs to learn that. The Mandalorian is a good start, but they can't rest on that laurel, and they played it way too safe. And this episode, I won't say too much about it yet, but I will say they really scotched it on this one, and they can't afford to do that. And I'm really worried that they're going to drop the ball if they're not too careful.
You didn't like this one?
I didn't.
This was my least favorite. I thought I was alone. All of the streams I've listened to and everybody I've listened to, I have been saying, oh, the Mandalorian is so good, and I've been saying, it's mediocre. But this one here, I've been giving it 7.5s and 8s. This one here really bothered me, and as a member of the 501st, the Stormtrooper Legion for.
We'll go into that after we've watched it, but definitely the Stormtrooper.
We should get going then, because I might have to run.
It's all right. A friend of mine was 501st, Jersey branch.
Oh, and I'm in the Capital City Garrison here in Ottawa.
I don't know what his garrison name was, but it was in Jersey. It was 501st. God rest his soul.
Right, let's give it a watch then. Is everybody ready in the chat?
I don't have this episode, so I may have to duck out.
Have you seen it?
A link. I can give you I can email you the link, but you'll have to be pretty quick on this.
Okay then.
Hold your horses.
Yeah, I don't have Disney Plus, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
I don't know which streaming service to go with now. There's so many of them.
Yeah, well, this is just another situation that goes back to exactly what we were saying.
Exactly, it's going to end up, as I said, it's going to end up like Steam and Epic Games. Steam's going to win,
That's another thing to talk about too, is putting something like this behind a paywall. If you're trying to increase the exposure of your channel and your streaming service, and you're trying to get people to come to you, putting it behind a paywall is probably not a good idea to spread the cheer. So people aren't going to. Everybody's talking about this word of mouth about the child and everything else, and that's one thing. But if you want numbers, if you want 7 million people watching your show and buying your merchandise, you can't put it behind a paywall.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, because not only are you paying like $15 to $20 to hire this thing, like, which would be the price, I guess, of a single cinema ticket. But you're also paying to, like, it's almost like you're paying the rent for the cinema as well.
Yeah.
Wow, it's going to download.
So you're actually paying, yeah, you have to keep watching it to get your money's worth, and it's just like, well, how many times can you watch the same movie? And what if it's not as good as you hoped it would be? And is there any way you can say, well, I didn't like it. Can I get my money back? All sorts. Anyway, I sent you the link.
Yeah, I got it.
You got it.
Downloading. Yeah, I got it.
Excellent. So let us know when you're ready and we can
Rabbi's
start
didn't
watching.
work, but yours seems to work.
It's the same link.
Good to go. Are we all what?
Okey-dokey,
One in the chat if we're good to go?
Yeah, press 1 if you're ready to go, chat.
Yes, press the 1 button. Now.
I think we're all sleeping.
Yep, I got it. I'm ready to go. That's the
Right.
first episode of Mandalorian I've actually seen, and you're saying it's the worst. This is going to be fun.
Yeah, we got a couple of ones. Alpha Omega, I actually sent you a link if you want to join. I sent you the link about 10 minutes ago. An email.
It's nice you're here with us, by the way, Foff.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. It's good to see you too, man.
Sorry, my British sarcasm there. It's nice to see you here. It's all right. It's all right. I think Star Wars is probably more up your street than the classic watch-alongs, eh?
Surprisingly, I've seen most of the Doctor Who. I've the new ones, all of them, multiple times. I mean, I've been through them a couple times, and then my wife too. She wanted to watch them because I was always such a big fan. So but I'd say Tom Baker on. I'm more likely to be someone who has seen them, but some of the old stuff I haven't seen. I have some of the DVDs.
Yeah, that's all right. I mean, I didn't mind covering for you. I was just wondering what the heck was going on.
Yeah. I'm more the new Who than the old Who.
Oh, I see. That's fine. I'm fine with the classic. I got most of the classics. I'm fine. It's only when you get back to
I've watched now. Back in the old days, back in the early '80s, on my dad's satellite dish, we used to watch the Sci-Fi Channel of the States. So I've seen a lot of the after Tom Baker Doctor Who episodes, but that was also 30 years ago. So a lot of my memory is a little bit shady on them. Now, Blake Seven, I could talk about Blake Sevens all over the place. I own Blake Seven, so that's a little.
I've got to sit down and watch Blake Seven. Actually, I'm being sacrilegious there. I've got to sit down and watch it.
Well, you can join us on our streams. I mean, we're already near the end of season 2. But,
join you on the stream at 3 a.m., mate.
Well, that's a sacrifice you have to make.
I know. No wonder you're a zombie during the day.
Well, I'm a zombie most of the time.
By the way, Noel did that thing where he put up the the top 250 fans.
Oh yeah.
Did you see what number 3 was?
No.
Baby Yoda.
Oh
really?
My God.
Grogu.
And Doctor Who is like 201 or something.
Grogu is much more talked about than Doctor Who.
Says it all.
That doesn't surprise me.
Right, are we ready, lads?
Aye.
When you are.
Right, Lee, do the countdown, buddy.
Okay, right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Ping.
Are we going through the preview first, or are we starting right at the episode?
Right at the start.
Oh, there we go. Good. Yeah.
Yeah. Previously on The Mandalorian.
Yeah,
Perfect.
lightsabers. About time.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, I am in sync with you guys then. That's good.
Jolly good.
I'm going to be an absolute fanboy during this tonight. You're going to say it's the worst episode ever. I go, it's the best episode ever. That's bloody
It's got some great bits in there. Well, you'll see for yourself, right? I think there was some talk that it was rushed. That they had to replace the director last minute, and I think that does show.
I think so because obviously the director is a good director. So I was shocked actually when I watched it as we were going through it.
Who did they replace?
I don't know. I
I
don't
know
know.
Robert Rodriguez is directed. This is what Robert Rodriguez is.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, yeah.
I think he's like normally a good director, but I think it was just so rushed, and it's got some real rookie errors.
Yeah. I like Robert Rodriguez, but sometimes he can be a bit hit and miss.
Yeah, this was pretty missed.
I
I mean, there's some great bits in there. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, you'll see.
If he gets between a rock and a hard place, he can be a bit hit and miss. There's George Lucas's name. That's the only bit he likes now. It's got his name on it. Star Wars Marvel branding. Doesn't that get destroyed? They did so well using a puppet for Yoda, for Grogu. Just hit the nail on the head.
Oh. Oh.
It's just the best.
Brilliant.
I think he should have pulled something else and smashed him over the head with it in the cockpit. Do you know they could get Nathan Fillion to take over his voiceover on this and it would sound exactly the same?
I don't know. Anybody.
Yeah, Nathan Fillion could be a very good placement. Now throw the ball at his head. I can't train you. I'm shit. I can't do anything right.
Yeah.
I can't even open a can of tuna.
Nice little start.
Yeah, it's a nice start.
It's cute. It's a really good bonding moment, right?
Yeah. Hey, they're actually going to land on a foresty planet.
I do like that they did take a kind of good fatherly figure, although obviously there's some issues with the way he carts him around and stuff like that. It gets him into danger everywhere. But
yeah,
I like the bond they have.
Yeah, Favreau lost his father, didn't he? So that's always sort of in his mind.
He needs a child seat in that ship.
That's why the New Republic was pulling him over. He didn't have a child seat in his.
That's it. I just realised. Well, just a minute. There's no child seat.
Wow.
He does actually just. Pablo does actually sound a bit like Nathan Fillion, though. Just replace him with Nathan Fillion. Look, Mando, even Jedi doesn't look Jedi this day and age.
Mhm.
Baby Yoda gets up and pees all over it.
The giant stone nipple of seeing.
Eat it, eat it, eat it, eat it. Uh-oh.
Dun, dun, dun.
Someone wants their jetpack back.
So there we go. Slave 1.
That's still a cool ship.
Mm.
So alien. Ha ha! Grogu did it to you on purpose.
I see $1.
I love his face here. He's got all zen.
I am the best fandom. Number 3. I'll be number 1 soon.
I am the third best fan.
Buy my toys.
Star Trek, who's still in the hundreds, and Star Wars, that's now in the hundreds. I don't know if Channel 4 is going to get hold of this soon.
Don't know.
2 years' time.
Yeah.
Give me my feckin' armor back. Wants his feckin' armor back. Want my dad's armor. Want my pappy's armor. Here we go again.
He didn't see her when he looked up the first time, but there she is, easily seen the second time.
I just shot her in the head. There we go. You're tying it into Attack of the Clones well, though.
So you put down the jetpack. I mean, you've got all these things that you could just touch a different part of your body and fire something. You know, like
Yeah.
that's
He's incompetent though, isn't he?
I must admit, I hate that weapon that kills everybody automatically. Like that one bothers me. That breaks things.
Yeah.
I don't know. If I was that technologically advanced, I think I'd come up with something like that.
Why doesn't everybody have it then?
Maybe it's super expensive.
It is nice to see Tamara Morrison again from episode 2.
So she's a blow-up doll.
Yeah. She could be like Maz Weasel.
Who I also played.
He played everyone.
Yeah. Clones.
You're a shapeshifter.
She is one of my favorite parts of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Now, this is where it gets bloody silly.
Yeah, the big complaint is that everyone said it was like 2 episodes condensed into 1. It's like, why do you have so many filler episodes if you're going to have this in the end?
Attempt number 2.
I all worked it out. The Force just hates Mando. There we go. God, she's almost dressed like Maz Weasel. Must have murdered a load of Tusken Raiders to get that. Oh. I know what that move is.
Armor that's completely fucking useless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you drag the sword across the floor. It's you do it with a samurai sword.
Not a scratch on any of the main characters.
This was part of the reason why this episode really fell flat for me. If these are elite shock troops, they're not very elite.
Can't remember the Kami, but there's one where you hide the sword right behind your back and have it really low down and then bring it up. Yeah.
And if I was the stormtrooper commander, I would have gone up to that artillery guy and shot him in the back of the head and said, "You're a failure. That was awful." You can eyeball that pretty good, pretty accurate. And if it was shrapnel rounds, she should have been shredded.
Yeah.
Like keep aiming at the rock and not at the person on the rock.
Yeah. It's the special effects guys with their little shaped charges in order to make those effects, right?
Squibs, yeah. Rock squibs.
And her tiny frame is going to topple that rock, you know.
She's got to weigh, what, 100 pounds?
Right.
She might have new legs, though. They might be mechanical legs.
Yeah, squibs in plaster.
Or maybe she's got mechanical legs, you know.
I'll just run straight into the same direction that the rock is going.
Yeah, and you're just going to stand there shooting at
He just watched Prometheus, didn't he? He thought, run away from the donut ship.
This part is cool. I like this part.
Oh, it's
I like when-
badass, but it's as badass as it is ludicrous. You know?
Yeah, it is. And that E-Web should have turned that boulder into just so much sand.
Yeah, should have shredded everything.
And you just leave your door open, of course.
Guys.
It lands with its door open by itself. You know.
Mando's a prat. He really is.
Right? He keeps leaving his bloody door open.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're in the middle of a firefight. Oh, she can handle herself. I'm just going to go get some gear on.
Yeah.
Who is this, by the way? She looks like
That
Zam
looks
Weasel.
good. That looks
Not
good
Zam
on
Weasel.
TV, but let me tell you, that would never work in real
No.
And
tactical.
not a single scratch, you know, like, oh. Pew, pew, pew. She kills them all, picks them off, and it's just
Oh
like,
my God, is that what I think it is?
And if you're going to send a platoon of stormtroopers, why not send both platoons?
yeah, at the same time.
Just
Yeah.
overrun them.
Or you've got these
Two different
these
areas.
these black troopers, you know, like these death trooper type things, and why don't you send them down?
What, Dark Troopers?
Dark troopers, that's the one.
They are actually dark. I thought they were going to be Shadow Troopers and just have Gregarian
Attempt
armor.
number three.
The Force just doesn't like Mando. It just
I'm
doesn't.
just glut for punishment. You know, I'm just going to,
Yeah.
maybe it changed since the last time I tried it.
So he keeps going back, tries, fails. I'll be back soon. He keeps going up and down.
Yeah. You're going to find something really douchey at the end of this, like he's the thing he's the descendant of Canderous or something. He's like, oh, God, no, not him. It's probably the descendant of Jar Jar Binks and Canderous.
Picked off again. Just like, what's the point? Here we go again. Deus Ex.
Yeah. I thought it was only supposed to fire one, that thing.
Shoot him in the neck. You know, like,
Didn't think they were supposed to be guided.
shoot him in the arm,
Defense
under the arm.
Yeah, shoot the black bits, not the shiny bits.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Get shot. Oh. One episode, you just shoot them in the neck and it's over. The armor's not fitting properly.
Dad bod Boba.
Boba Fat.
Blubber fat.
He's going to be eating at the same buffet till he ate at.
You could just add a few stormtrooper scalps to his Wookiee scalps there.
I mean, he's
Yeah.
badass. I mean, I love this bit. It's just.
Just doesn't fit very well.
That was a cool scene.
That was
Like,
awesome. Always
yeah.
want to see them being fired. It's Bingy Rockets.
And by the way, those are elite stormtroopers. They wouldn't run
Yeah,
like
and they're
that.
running away. Run away! Run away!
Unless they were called off, which is not logical because if
No.
Moff Gideon's whole purpose was to distract them while he steals the child,
Yeah.
why would he have them retreat like that? There's no way. He would say, you go until you die or they're dead.
Yeah.
There's no retreating. It's just because they wanted to write in this
Use
scene.
it, use it,
Yeah.
use it. There we go. Always wanted to see that happen as well.
And didn't the Marshal already use that missile? So that means that the Mandalorian took all the armor when he got it from him and decided, oh, you know what, I'm gonna put another missile in the,
Yeah.
the
I'll
jetpack
just
there,
replace that.
just because, and I'll leave it in my open, unlocked ship.
This guy's really not locked
Ooh.
anymore, mate. It's gone.
That was gut wrenching.
Now that part was my least favorite scene of the whole season, because
Yeah.
does Moff Gideon know for sure that the child isn't in there?
Well, I think
Yeah,
he's,
it's a
you
bit
can sense on
stupid,
the
yeah.
force. Yeah, but he's a force sensitive, so he's going to know
Yeah, he's going to know
that
where
he's
the
on top
was.
of the.
That's kind of a general awareness, right? If this is within a square kilometer, and bringing a starship into the atmosphere is pretty dangerous.
Mm.
Yeah.
But it's a small one, isn't it? It's not like a one of the Galaxy class types.
Yeah, it's a light cruiser. I do like the commander though on the bridge there.
Mm.
Yeah, technically a souped up interdictor.
Now this pisses me off as well. In they
about
come,
time
right?
they finally appear.
Like, rush up that mountain quick, because they have taken off my jetpack for no reason.
They are pretty sharp looking, though.
Here come the Iron Men.
These are around March. Four
Of them, right? You got 4 of these badass things, right? Down they come.
And the Mandalorian has to run 3 times longer than he did when he had to run down the hill.
Yeah.
When he went back, 3 times to try and get through that.
They're still running, and they're still running,
field.
and they're still running,
and they're walking slowly to the child.
I hope you're not going into space with that child. It'll be probably dead by the time it. They hand him a dead popsicle. There you go.
And that's it. You don't even get to fight them. They just 4 of them turn up, go down, pick up the child, and fuck off.
Yep.
It's nice to see Dark Troopers, though. Finally.
Now I'm the commander on that light cruiser, and I'm seeing this ship come flying across into my into my targeting area.
About it.
And I'm just going to let him fly by me, get a good look. Yeah, get a good look here, and then not destroy him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, why if they were going to destroy the ship, why didn't they destroy both that ship and the other?
Slave one as well,
right?
Both ships, unless both
I know, I'm
jamming them. Yeah, unless
I'm being
jamming.
picky.
The child would probably be dead by the time it hit the shuttle bay.
So he makes that, strategic observation based on one ship that's a light cruiser.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
If it was the Super Star Destroyer or something, I'd be like, yeah, okay, the Empire's back. But it was one light cruiser. Or if it was a fleet of Star Destroyers, okay, the Empire's back.
That even looked like one of the small interdictors from the Clone Wars, so it could have been anything.
Yep.
Could have been an old clone interdictor, anything.
Like, of all the things he can spot.
It's Grogu's ball. Well, that's one more ball than you'll ever have, Mandalorian.
Yeah, after this. All because he left his fucking door
open. Idiot.
Parked out in a place that's easily spottable. Like, if you're going to be able to attract anyone to come along, it's, you want to be a bit more cautious.
Yeah. I had to scrape his head out the helmet. I need to find some Weight Watchers, though. I'm a bit tubby. His armor really chafes now.
My girl.
Mm-hmm.
Go on, Kara, kick Mando in the balls. I'm sure he doesn't have any, though.
She's got more balls than he does.
Yeah, he's got more balls.
There is a lot of truth in that statement.
Oh man, that's because you got no balls. That's why I can kick you 100 times and nothing happens. It's nice we're suddenly starting to see the New Republic now, though. Making a few random appearances.
No, they got the kids, and she's like, "Oh hell no!"
It looks more like an interdictor. It really does.
Yeah, it's the old Clone Wars light cruiser ship.
Yeah. The one you saw at the end of Attack of the Clones taking off.
Yeah, I think that
Accumulators, that's it. The Acclimator class.
Yeah, that drops the hint that we're going to see the New Republic and the Empire at the end. There's no way that they're going to be able to take on the Empire without some help, and that requires the New Republic. I think it's also what you're going to have for the finale too. You're going to have like X-wings and hopefully a Mon Calamari cruiser and a Star Destroyer and a great space battle. That would be cool.
Thrown around by a child.
Couldn't the child have done this with the
Dark
the
Troopers?
Death Trooper, whatever they're called?
Dark Troopers. I'm not sure. It might have been able to. Dark Troopers are technically droids, though. That's the whole thing about them.
Yeah, but they're still objects he can move, right?
Did you hear the interview he gave where he talked about his? Oh, I'll show you mine if you show me yours. I think. Did you hear about the interview where he talked about his 4 daughters and how their favorite character in the show is the child, and they're saying, "Please, Daddy, don't hurt the child." And he says, "Oh, I'm going to kick that child's ass." It was a great interview.
Give me the saber.
Yeah, he's stun gun.
Oh, little shackle.
I'll just break out them like Luke Skywalker did. Using the old Stormtrooper rifle.
Yep. Those are some classic armor. I wonder if
That's
those
Mark
are
One. That's the Mark 1 blaster. It's not the Mark 3.
I wonder if they're 501st guys.
Oh.
Because they would have needed to do that, because that would have cost tens of thousands of dollars to put all those costumes together when you've got thousands of 501st Stormtrooper guys that can just drop in and do it for probably for nothing. Like for whatever the I don't know what the base salary is for a person who does their first time on. I'm not sure. Well, maybe you know, Lee. Do you know how much it would be for a guy to just drop in a non-speaking role in a TV show?
Well, in the UK, minimum £90 an hour, but then it goes up in overtime. So, I mean, usually on something like Star Wars, it's about £250, £270 a day.
Not bad for a day's work, right? You
Yeah,
throw
not
your
bad.
armor on, you go out and you get into a TV show. I'm sure some of those guys are probably 501st.
Well, yeah, I mean, you do get a few military types in there, but usually they cast on, basic physical size. But if you do have particular army training, they do look for things like that occasionally.
Oh yeah, I mean the 501st, the fan group, the Star Wars fan group.
Oh right, I got you.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm sure there's some military personnel too that are involved.
Well, they certainly have. When you're issued with firearms, even if they're not real, they are issued by people who know what they're doing.
Yep.
Yeah. I had to do that with swords once. Wasn't much fun.
Alpha Omega says Baby Yoda shackles sold separately.
No, bloody ass, bro. It would be.
Thumbs up, buddy. Yeah, that's true, eh?
Yeah.
They're
Imagine
now
they
they're
had
only
those
now
ready.
starting to cash in on this.
Have we lost
My wife
Noel?
picked up the child figure from Costco. It was like $20 for it, and it's a big box with a big figure in it. I was surprised that it's so cheap.
Yeah. Certainly are. Well, it's my third biggest fandom is Baby Yoda's fandom.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Right, give us our ratings, lads, for this week's episode.
Go for it, Tim.
A 10?
No, I'm asking you to go for it.
Oh, so I gave it an 8 earlier, but watching it again, a 7.5.
Okay.
Okay, Lou.
I'm going to give it 6.5.
Okay. PD Rich.
I'm going to give it an 8 because that's the first episode of Mandalorian I've ever seen.
Oh. Right. I mean, the reason I gave it such a low mark for this week was because, there are so many glaring things in there. I mean, there are some great moments with Boba Fett, however you want to say. But I mean, there's so many glaring problems with, the stormtroopers now are just joke. They send in those death trooper, whatever you want to call it.
Dark troopers
in. And, you got 4 of them. You think, we're going to see some. No, they come down, pick it up, off they go. Slave One doesn't even get shot at once. Not a graze in any of the cast from any of these stormtroopers. The ship blown up. He leaves the door open. So all these plot devices are put in place. Like he removes his jetpack as part of his little treaty to sit down and talk with Boba Fett, and then conveniently he needed it, but because of the plot reasons he couldn't have it to swoop in and save the child. It's just full of real rookie errors in there, and it kind of takes you out of it a bit. And 3 times he goes to try and get through that force field, and bounces. I mean, 3 times. It's a bit silly.
Force just doesn't like him. That's what it is.
Yeah, there's that as well.
As we went through the episode, I kind of chimed in on the stuff that really bothered me, and there was a lot in this episode. I think the one with Ahsoka, there was some, but nothing like this. I was generous with my score because I'm just, after what I've seen from the movies, seeing some good, not great Star Wars is making me happy. I think what also gives me a bump in my ranking too is as a huge Star Trek fan, like massive Star Trek fan. I watch Star Trek on Thursday, Discovery, and then I watch Star Wars on Friday, so it makes me a lot happier because I'm so depressed from watching that atrocity that is Discovery that when I go in and watch Star Wars, I'm like, oh, okay, this isn't bad.
Right, officially confirmed. Ahsoka, a new original series starring Rosario Dawson and set within the timeline of The Mandalorian, is coming to Disney Plus. They just dropped that news, so there you go.
Wait for the Boshek adventure. It's gonna happen again, isn't it, Bob? They're gonna just every character making a little sort of mini series about them.
There you go.
Here we go again.
I like Ahsoka as a character.
I actually enjoyed this week's episode. Very eventful, actually. It's fun. I mean, look, okay. You have a point about the stormtroopers, the way they're easily being killed, but I don't mind that. I mean, I don't, and the whole thing, well, why didn't the 2 ships come down at the same time? Well, come on. I mean, that's just nitpicking in fairness. I mean, what about the actual story annoyed you? Do you know what I mean? That's the thing. I don't think there was anything wrong with this story. The only thing that I'm pissed off about is that Mando did literally leave 2 seconds too early, because if he had actually been a little bit patient, the force field thing came down, and he would have bleeding saved the child, but he went down there to protect the child. I don't see anything wrong with that. I mean, look, I think people are just taking it too seriously. I think what's happening is that there's still bitterness because of the sequel trilogy, and I get that. I really do. But I think people have to let go, because the things that you are giving it about are not really things to be worth giving it about, to be quite honest with you. It was a good, fun episode this week. We learned a little bit more. You know, the child was kidnapped. I'm fucking pissed off about that. But, you know, yeah, we'll see what happened next week, because I was saying to Sharon, I hope they don't wait until next week to see if he rescues the bloody child, like, because now I have to wait a whole week now to see what happens. So
it's a two-parter.
Yeah.
I'm expecting the next 2 episodes to be a two-parter.
So, look, I think it's still doing a good job.
Yeah, which I like about it.
I know people out there don't like Dave Filoni, and they don't like what he's trying to do, and you know, people are never gonna like this, and I understand that. But
I actually like the Clone Wars. I like what Dave Filoni has done for Star Wars, and don't forget though that whole background, that whole Clone Wars and Rebels. George Lucas had a hand in a lot of that. He was there as an advisor. So a lot of the background, a lot of these characters and stuff, Dave Filoni was a big part of it. But let's not forget that George Lucas was a huge part of this.
I mean, there's no wokeness in this. There's no agenda.
Nope. You're right.
It's just pure fun.
It's because it's like Doctor Who was back in 2005. They're trying to make it for everybody.
Yep.
They're trying to make it. They've got to keep it tame. It's a PG.
I don't know, Star Wars fans, there's going to be time for adjustment for them. But look, they will adjust. You don't resist it. It is a good show.
It is a good show. I can't keep scoring it highly. But I can't keep scoring it highly because it isn't woke. I've got to start thinking in other terms.
I do get some of the criticisms, but I think we're just getting a bit too bogged down on them.
But
it had far too many glaring problems in that episode.
So how do you know how it rectified in the next 2 episodes, though? I think everybody's jumping.
Because it's irrelevant to the next episode. It's within that episode. And it's things that happen within that episode that is not related to things that...
Then again, from me, your criticisms, I actually find them refreshing because it looks like the fandom's starting to repair itself.
Yeah, because we're talking about things that actually matter.
Everyone's turning back into fanboys. I love it.
Well, there's not the antipathy that has been prevalent in most of our fans.
Yeah, look, I care about this show. I love this show.
I know you do, and I'm not criticising you. I'm just defending it a little bit. I just think people are.
Wait. No, is defending
the criticisms. I thought it was a good, fun episode.
There's some great bits in there.
We probably learned a little bit. I
just think it's the weakest episode.
Star Wars fans wanted to be going at a quicker pace and maybe longer episodes. But to be honest, I'm happy with the pace. I'm happy with the episode length. I'm happy with what they're trying to do. It's just, let's wait and see what the end game is, series 2. But I am pissed off they took the child. Better get him back. He looked real sad when he was getting taken away.
Yeah. I mean, there's mistakes, but it's science fantasy, so there's going to be mistakes. It's just nice that the fans are arguing again because it shows we're going back to the old days.
Favreau's giving us something that he's trying to give us something good. He's trying to give us something that's
exactly.
But you can't give them a free lunch either. You still got to hold their feet to the fire when they make mistakes, and these were clear mistakes in the sort of continuity of the show. In this particular episode, there were a lot of problems with that. I don't think it negatively impacts the show as a whole. Definitely doesn't. But I think for this episode, they could have done a lot better. And really, they're not doing the stormtroopers any favors by making it an even bigger joke than normal.
But
that for me was the main problem.
Both a joke.
Yeah, I mean, he's just making him look a bit bloody stupid, and destroying his ship as well was a bit.
I don't know what they've turned into since the events of where they probably have. They're probably not even properly trained. We don't know.
They're being bred now.
That's what I'm saying. I just think people are jumping the gun. Remember, this is like years after the Death Star, isn't it? It blew up or whatever. So, I mean, we don't know what's happened to the Republic. We don't know what's happened to the other side. We don't
Apparently,
know.
you're scaring Gregory to Graf's cats.
All we do right now is this. All we do, someone should stop yelling when they're scaring my cats. Meow.
I think Noel's a dog person, so
Yeah.
Don't say I'm a dog person.
But
he's a Groku person.
But look, I mean, look, I'm gonna get this annoying. I'm sorry, but I really like this. I think it's getting better week in, week out. For me, as I said, I'm not a traditional Star Wars fan like you all. So, you know, you have mentioned on the panel that it is trying to be a show for everybody. Well, it's doing the trick for me.
Doing well.
I can tell you that.
The thing I liked about this episode is quite straightforward. If we got Dark Troopers, are we going to see Kyle Katarn?
Yeah.
I want to see Kyle Katarn.
Wow, that's a deep cut. Great one. I think Dark Empire might be part of this. If they go deeper into the seedy backdrop of the Star Wars universe, that might be pretty cool, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Is it going to be his outcast Katarn, or is it going to be Jedi Katarn as well?
Maybe he's the one who shows up. There's been a lot of talk about who's going to show up after the child sent out that signal, right? That force signal.
That's the thing, though.
Carl shows up.
People talking now. People are all of a sudden, as PD Rich said, people all of a sudden that there's a little bit of a spark gone back into the fandom a little bit.
Exactly, and we're all arguing over silly things again. It's great.
Be fanned by the YouTubers that review this and give an honest review. You know, you have to stop. I think this is what needs to happen. I think you have to stop comparing this show to what Disney have produced so far. Right? The sequel trilogy, we all know, was a disaster. Nobody is denying that. It was, right? Rogue One is probably the best thing that they've produced since The Mandalorian.
Yeah, pretty much.
If you take that and The Mandalorian, right, and forget about the sequel trilogy and try base it on what they've produced now instead of what they've produced in the past, because that's what's happening. People are thinking about what Disney have produced in the past, and they're letting that taint their opinions on this show. I think this show would get a lot more love if the YouTubers that actually deal with Star Wars were to talk about this show. You know, start from scratch, a clean slate with this show.
Yeah, I agree to a point.
Listen, there'll be fans out there that won't know what you're talking about when you're talking about certain characters break canon and all this. But this is the thing: you will have to accept that if you want Star Wars to be successful again, this is the future. I'm sorry, whether you like it or not, they're trying to pander to everybody in with this show. And yes, they will make mistakes along the way, but they'll start making their own canon. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with that once it doesn't disrespect what's came before. And I don't think The Mandalorian has done it like Doctor Who with Chris Chibnall. If you look at the comparisons, it's at least this show is trying, right? And there's things in the show right now that you are a bit worried about, but you don't know down the line if they're going to explain all them. So
yeah, that's neither here nor there. Everything I was complaining about was particular to this episode alone, not about where it's going. I think there were some great developments in there. It moved the story along, but what I had issue with was what was happening in the episode itself. And you know, I think it's important to distinguish this as well. It's not that we want, obviously, for Mandalorian to fail. We want the show to succeed. We love this show. We want it to succeed. But at the same time, we've got to keep Disney aware that we haven't forgotten what happened with the sequels. And we have to keep reminding them of that. Because if they get comfortable with The Mandalorian, like, okay, everyone loves The Mandalorian now. Wait. Everyone loves The Mandalorian now. So let me finish. We've got to keep them on their toes. If they get comfortable with this, if they think, well, we don't need to try harder anymore, then we don't improve this either.
We'll still get the High Republic,
trying hard. I mean, you wouldn't have had The Mandalorian if I had.
I know, but we can't let them rest on their laurels.
I agree.
They've got to take a few more risks, because otherwise it's going to become boring.
If we go hands off with The Mandalorian and the other spin-offs, we're going to end up with The Last Jedi again.
Exactly. Then another dumpster fire I have to put out.
Yeah, but
Look,
I don't think under Favreau that's ever going to happen because I think he has
he won't.
the fans' criticism.
I have a lot of faith in him. I do have faith in him.
Of the fandom menace, and it is a result of all the fans complaining. And this is in some way, whether people like it or not, Disney trying to make some sort of amends. Yes, they'll never fully heal bridges. No, they won't. They never will. They have destroyed characters that people have grown to love and grew up with, and we're devastated to see those characters being destroyed.
Especially not getting the three main characters on screen together.
They could still hand out these olive branches. Now, Ahsoka has been obviously announced now. So again, this will be another show that Disney will, and I said this earlier, that the problem that I have is they've announced that they're going to do 10 Star Wars shows. I don't care about the Marvel shows, to be quite honest with you. Right now, for me, it's Star Wars, right? But they're doing 10 shows on Disney Plus. There will be a chance and a possibility that they could overextend themselves here. Now, I would like them realistically to do it this way. You're already on season 2 of The Mandalorian, so you're probably thinking of slating the 4th season of Ahsoka by next year, right? So then you'll be on the 3rd season of The Mandalorian. That's fine. So then you do your 2nd season of Ahsoka, then you're on your 4th season of The Mandalorian, and then you release your next project.
I hope for season 3 of The Mandalorian that they stop using it as a vehicle to create other shows. I want other shows to be able to, build on their own success. Leave the Mandalorian to develop its own story and to move forward without being a setup for other things.
Because there is a possibility, you're right, because then it will taint.
And you're right about the overreach as well. Like I think 10's too much. I think they should focus on quality rather than quantity. They need to start small and build up because, if they start coming out, we've got to be all suddenly competitive with HBO. We've got to have 10 of this and 10 of that and all the rest of it. They're going to overreach. Yeah. They're going to end up losing money and it's going to lose quality and it's going to sink fast. And really, it can't afford to do that. I would much rather they focused on smaller quality stories. Mandalorian, focus on that success, build upon that success, and improve and take a few more risks with it. I think it's grown. Its audience it has come on board. Those who are on board will stay on board. I think you've got to begin to start thinking outside the box a bit more to keep those people on board because. It's a nice show. It's simple, but it can be a bit overly simple and a bit formulaic. I think they can break from that next series. I've enjoyed it thoroughly. I just think that now's the time that for the next season they can do a few more things and really expand upon.
Yeah. But you know what? This is what I honestly think they're going to do. So they've created 10 shows. I know exactly what's going to happen. So what's going to happen is whenever they release all 10 shows and all 10 shows are up and running, right? And whether they're successful or not, right? What will happen is they'll do an Avengers style either movie or a series where they all come together. They all have to come together to work together to defeat you know who. And then that I think that's the end game for them, and I think they're going to do that on Disney Plus. I think that's the next big project. I think that's exactly what they'll do. I think they'll concentrate on that rather than concentrate on releasing big movies. I think they know the big movies are actually damaged now because of the sequel trilogy, and I think this is a smart move on their part. But again, like Lee said, and like I said, if Favreau's in charge of it, all of it, overseeing the whole lot, I would be a bit more comfortable. But listen. This is the thing, though.
Keep Kathleen away.
It has to be
stay away from everything.
Yeah, if this is rushed too much, then it could all fall apart before it even begins.
Yeah, that's my reservation. No, I mean my reservation is that Disney are just going to start throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks again.
Yeah,
there's no way. There is no way.
Adventures, There
is no way in this atmosphere with in the financial situation in the world today that there's going to be 10 shows. I'm going to tell you that now.
No way. Look,
they might have 10 in production where they're a bunch of writers getting together talking about it, and then whatever the top 2 or 3 spin-offs
I know how that'll work as well. It'll be based on success. So Mandalorian to them is a success, and let's be honest, it has been a relatively successful show, right? So then they bring out this next one, which is Ahsoka. So if that ends up being successful, then they'll probably greenlight the next project. Then if that one becomes that's how I think they'll do it. They'll release their next project based on the success of the previous one. And
you've got the Obi-Wan series that's kind of in limbo right now. You've got Ahsoka, which is just announced, and that is like a pipe dream right now. No one has done anything on that show yet. You've got Cara Dune. You've got the Boba Fett miniseries that they're talking about. You've got this one here right now. This one is extremely expensive. Mandalorian is expensive. And what are their ratings? That's something you have to consider too. Is like we don't know what the ratings are right now. And I would suspect they're not very good because it's stuck behind a paywall. It's Disney streaming.
Yeah, so, they need to start thinking about in terms of syndication,
international distribution.
They do have a streaming's rating system thing. There's a thing that you can go. I don't forget the name of it, but there is a site that's dedicated to
But how honest will that be, though? You know,
I don't know how accurate it actually is.
Is it going to be like Rotten Tomatoes?
And you also only got 8 episodes of like 8 30-minute episodes a season does not trend too well into syndication. You need 20 episode seasons times 5 seasons to do anything in syndication. So they need like 10 seasons of The Mandalorian to be successful in syndication. They're going to have to have 3 or 4 shows on TV on the Disney streaming service for this to be as successful as it could be.
I think you can get there though if they continue down and let Jon Favreau and his team do what they're doing. But I'd always say this though. Always listen to George Lucas though. You know his advice would be valuable. You don't have to necessarily take it 100%, but he is the creator and he has tried to create this universe. So why not listen to the man, you know? And I think Favreau has. That's why I do have a little bit of hope. Look, I just hope they don't overextend themselves because they will end back in. We will. And I do agree other YouTubers have actually spoke about this. We'll end up back at square one. Disney will end up back at square one. And then Disney will have a decision to make then. And people haven't actually, only a few people have spoke about this, but this is actually true. Disney then will have to seriously consider whether it's worth keeping the Star Wars franchise. Because, you know, how much did they spend acquiring it? I mean, the sequel trilogy alone, I think, just made them back the money they paid for it and a little bit extra, right? One Star Wars movie should have made them all their profits back. If they had hit the nail on the head with our very first movie and we hadn't have got The Force Awakens and we actually got an original Disney Star Wars movie, right? That was written absolutely fantastically and they got advice off Lucas and he was there all the way through, right? And they hit the nail on the head with it. I'm telling you, they would have made their money back in the fourth movie. Even with merchandise sales alone, could you imagine the hype it would have created? Because I even remember, even after a couple of days after watching The Force Awakens, every fan said it. I even remember watching them saying, nah, there's something about this. I like it, but then there's something niggling at me, right? And like everybody, it was a couple of days later it hit us. We just got switcherooed here. This is basically a rehash of A New Hope.
Yeah.
And you know what? On some aspects, I understand it. They wanted to play safe, but no, for me, if I hadn't been Disney executive, this is what I would have done. Right, they expect us to go safe, but why not? We're actually going to blow them away.
Yeah, but then they went unsafe with Rian Johnson, you know.
Unstable with Rian Johnson.
Oh
But I
God.
would say that's the way I would have done it. I would have surprised it. You wouldn't have seen it coming, right? And I would have, if I bring it back all characters, they would have been all treated with respect the way they should be. And here's the thing: if you want to pass the torch on, fine. There was a way of doing it that would have respected each and every character that everybody grew up to love. But
I
they
agree
didn't do
100%.
Yeah.
I agree
that.
100%.
But
Exactly right.
The Mandalorian, I think, is the start of Disney trying copping on. I wish they would have had a copped on 3 movies ago,
Yeah.
but unfortunately they didn't.
They
And
should have put an edict down.
look, the
Roll
healing
was
is
good, right?
on maybe Star Wars fans. Maybe 2 years from now, they'll go back and watch season 1 of The Mandalorian and probably have a different opinion on it. Just right now, I can understand that they are a bit raw, a bit bitter. I do, because I'm a Doctor Who fan. I get it 100%, but I think
Yeah.
I even do it myself. Sometimes you put on your goggles, and because you hate a particular, showrunner, or you might hate particular direction show is going in. Sometimes you get blinded by that, and you don't give an honest. It's not that you're not giving an honest review. It's just your review is clouded by what's happened before in the past, and you're not going to be honest with yourself. Do you know what I mean? Because you've got this way of thinking now, because Disney obviously made us all think that way because of what they did, and rightly so. And he's have backlash, and he's did well. The Phantom Menace was born. He's got the Mandalorian. I just think, once the fans get behind this, and yes, Lee is right, and everybody on the panel is right. It is always good to keep Disney on their toes, but let them know when they do get things right, instead of always letting them know the things that they get wrong. You know what I mean? We've got to be balanced as well. We can tell them what they get wrong with the Mandalorian, right? But also give them a list of things what they do right with the Mandalorian, and encourage them to do those right things even more. We get bogged down in all the criticism that we should, when they do something that we like, we should come out with a bit more praise and say, right, this is where you should concentrate the show on. This is where the direction you should take it. Encourage the showrunners. Favreau is on Twitter. He's very approachable. Let him know the things let him know the things that you're not quite sure about and what you'd like him to change. He'll listen. You know what I mean? And I think he has listened to fans, so, I mean, look, I have to do the same. And the thing about the Doctor Who fandom is there's no way of getting in touch with Chris Chibnall because he doesn't do social media. Like, I tell him the things that I think he gets right. And he does get some things right. Not a lot, but he gets some things right. But I would also like the opportunity to tell him what he gets wrong and why I don't think the direction of the show that it's going and should be going in this direction. So these have got it off my chest and had me say.
Yeah, like he had the opportunity to, so it seems a bit hypocritical that he doesn't.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that fans shouldn't criticise the Mandalorian. They have genuine concerns. Listen, for me, I don't know all the lore. There might be things in the show that you don't like because you know the lore. That's fine, fair enough. But remember, he is trying to reach out to a more mainstream audience. So I'm not saying that you should back down on your beliefs, but maybe why not, not relax them a little bit, but try to be a little bit more understanding to people that are coming into your franchise. And yes, spark that debate. Go and talk to these fans like myself and try educate us, do it in a proper way. Say, direct us to YouTubers or whatever, or direct us to TV shows that you think we should watch so we could understand all of this and see then, do we come up with the same opinions as you, or do we say, well, listen, it's a new show, let's give it a break and let's see where it goes. My opinion could change if I knew everything about canon and lore. But at the same time, I'm kind of glad I don't, because I don't want it to ruin the experience, because right now I'm really enjoying this show. And I really did get very upset.
Well, I think there is a danger with
Baby Yoda was taken away. That actually really got me. Like, not that I was getting all, but I was
I think there is a problem.
I was angry that they took him. I was really pissed off. And I think if a show can stir up emotions like that, I think it's doing, it's doing a good job for me. Go ahead, Lee. Sorry.
That's all right. I think it's you got a very good point. I think there is a problem if people do become too puritanical with law, and that's not to say. I mean, look, things like Doctor Who, you got established law of over I don't know, nearly 60 years. Okay, so it's a completely different thing, and it's been a linear process. With things like Star Wars, you have like a massive extended universe that spans multiple different medias, and book from novels to cartoon shows to comic books and so on and so forth. And a lot of that was trashed, and that audience has been built up over years since the original trilogy. So you're going to have a large group of the extended universe fans who've been fans of that for many, many, many years. But I agree that when it comes to trying to expand to effectively, the multi sort of normie audience, to borrow that term, which I don't actually like, but anyway, yeah, there is a danger that you become sort of a slave to it, and it does kind of halt development of ideas and becomes a slave to the lore itself. So I think it is kind of incumbent upon that fandom to kind of maybe understand that for it to be more, dare I say it, inclusive to new fans, rather than by dint of immutable characteristics. But to the general audience, that things are going to develop differently to how you've been, how you've raised yourself on the extended universe, for example. And I think that you can fall into that danger of being a purist and finding fault in these things because it doesn't follow that particular law, which is very sort of reserved for a very select few who've followed the extended universe for a number of decades. I mean, I can understand that can be a bit of a stinger to a lot of extended universe fans, but they've been shortchanged for a long time since Disney took over.
Well, I'm a big expanded universe fan.
Yeah, so you know what I'm saying.
All the books, read them all. I've got the role-playing game books, every single one of them. I'm as a role player and as a game master, I've game mastered campaigns in the Star Wars universe for years. I know my Star Wars. So
you understand. You understand.
Yeah, I do very much. I try not to get picky on canon stuff because Disney is rewriting canon. They're making their own universe. Hey, I get that. They decided that they weren't going to use the expanded universe to further their storylines, and I understand that too because they want to, they want to be successful on their own merits. I get that. So mostly I get picky with storytelling and logical story progression. And when you start to bend the reality of the universe that you've created and you just force feed certain things, certain plot points in to try to get certain points across without it being logical progression of events, that's usually what I get picky on. And so this episode was very lazy. There was a lot of stuff that made no sense. The writing was mediocre this time around. The conversation between Boba and the Mandalorian was like, hey, I've got your armor. Yeah, you've got my armor. Well, I'm going to shoot you. No, can I have my armor back? Well, I've got somebody pointing a gun at him. Well, okay, I'll drop my jetpack. Like, there's a whole bunch of things that was like, okay, that made no sense.
Bit by numbers. Yeah.
If you're a soldier, you're not going to give up the advantage, right? So it was a stalemate. So there were some things about the story I had a problem with, but I still enjoyed the episode. And I think what Noel is saying is exactly spot on too, is that we are being picky, but that's because we love it. And we're starting to get that feeling back again. You know how when your foot goes asleep after so long being in one spot and you're like, and there's the pinpricks and the needles and you're like shaking it and hoping that it's coming alive, and then it comes alive again. And you're like, thank God. Well, that's what this Star Wars is. It's like a bottle of water in the desert when you've been walking across the desert for 3 days. So it's great to see that we're getting some good Star Wars. Yeah. I don't want to get too nitpicky and down in the weeds right now. I want to see what they do. I'm giving them that chance for, it's only been, 14 episodes that we've seen. That's it. So
Yeah.
I think it's been good. I think they have some great potential and some really good storylines, and that's what I want to see. I want to see some good story. I want to see some fun characters. I want them to create new characters, like we saw one of them today. And and Ming Na Wei is a great actress. It's great to see that character come back again. That's an original character. I don't want to see Boba Fett. I don't want to see Ahsoka. I don't want to see Clone Wars rejects. I want to see some new cool characters like Cara Dune. So let's see some of that creativity. Let's get some really cool stuff going on. And let's not get bogged down in what happened in the past. Let's do some new, exciting stuff.
Yeah.
Brilliantly said. I can
Yeah.
completely
Chris
agree.
Perger came up with a good point about Ahsoka, actually. It's a bit risky going on with a character that not many people know about.
Yeah, I mean, she even though like I haven't seen the Clone Wars and I haven't
Clone
seen
Wars or
Rebels,
Rebels,
and,
yeah.
yeah, I mean it. I like the character. I don't know how faithful it is to the original that was seen on screen before, but I think as a new character to a general audience, they will warm to someone like that. And she's a believable female character. I think there's a lot of heart in that character from what I saw, and wisdom and all those things. And I think she's a compelling character. I know that Ninja Knight doesn't like her because of, problems with continuity and all the rest of it. I get that.
She kind of does break the story.
Yeah.
She breaks the story in a couple of ways. Technically, she's not a Jedi because she was expelled from the Jedi Order, but it's still.
But they addressed that in the last episode.
They kind of do. Look, I agree too. I like the character
Is she more
because
Grey Path now?
yeah, I like the character because I like the
Oh,
Clone
I
Wars,
see.
and she was a great character in the Clone Wars. I liked having a strong female character in what was a male-centric show. It was a bunch of clones that were men. It was a bunch of Jedi that were men, and she was a really cool breath of fresh air. And so bringing her into the Mandalorian is kind of, I get it. It's a Filoni favorite character. That's why she's here. There's no other reason why you don't introduce another character. Yeah, right. Exactly, Petey. That's part of the problem, I think, too, is bringing her in now. What's that going to do?
Well, it's clear that it was to push her as a character for another show.
Yes.
So they used this show to kind of instigate a new vehicle for that character, which was a bit on the nose and a bit evident to a lot of people, even those who weren't aware of this character particularly. I mean, I saw that. It's quite clear that was their intent. But well, I mean, there's going to be fans of her, and there are going to be people who are not fans of her. But I guess there's room enough for everybody. And if she's kind of taken out of the Mandalorian universe, that she's not going to pop up again, maybe people can opt to whether or not she remains canon or not.
She's a cool story to tell. It's Rosario Dawson. I'll watch her in anything. I loved her in all the Marvel shows. I like the actress. We go back to where she got her start too, and I think that it's a great character that I would love to see more of. I think that there's a lot of potential with this show. It's a great opportunity to have some wounded egos and some people out there who hated the movies to see some good Star Wars, and that's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
But I've got to run, guys. But
okay, buddy.
This was a lot of fun. I really appreciate it. I love Star Wars. I think that this is good stuff. I'm enjoying it. I really look forward to every Friday now to be able to sit down, relax during my break from work, and just shut my mind off and have some fun. I'm looking forward to the last two.
Excellent.
Same here. Can't wait to see what they have planned first. But listen, if you want to come on next week, you're more than welcome. We'll do it next week again, yeah?
Well, thanks. Yeah, I'd appreciate that. Sure, why not?
All right, then.
I have to get permission from the boss here if she's okay with it. Sure, I'll come on.
Not a bother. Not a bother.
Do you want to come on Monday again?
Boss. Always check with the boss first, you don't want to upset the boss.
10-4.
Yeah.
Well, you all have a great night, and I'll talk to you soon. I'm looking forward to the Doctor Who's this weekend. A couple of great ones.
You back with us on Sunday, Tim?
What's that?
You back for Blink on Sunday?
Oh, that's a great episode.
That's what we're doing Sunday.
I'll be there.
Well, I'm occupying your space. You can always pop back in if you want.
Oh, no. I enjoy listening to you guys and just helping out in the
mate?
chat. Daniel and I do a good job in the chat there. So, and Chris Persia and all the wrenches. Hail to all the wrenches out there. Charlotte, everybody. It's great. You guys do an amazing job, especially with everything that's been going on. So, hail to the wrenches. Hail to the chat.
Okay. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks.
Yeah, and thanks to you, PD. I don't want to take your spot either.
No. Your spot. The Sunday spot's yours.
Can you just stop being so bloody Canadian?
Plenty of room. You're not taking anybody's spot.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Well, I really appreciate it, you guys being so welcoming. Thank you very much.
Pleasure, always.
See you later.
See you later, buddy.
Yep.
Take
Have
care.
a good night, guys.
Bye, Tim.
You too.
Bye.
Right,
Great.
lads, we might as well finish up now shortly too. So if you want to give you our shout outs and stuff and stuff and
I've forgotten who I was going to shout out.
I just finished cooking dinner earlier, so I've just finished the dishes, cleaning the kitchen, doing a bit of scrubbing, multitasking.
Yeah, scrubber.
Yeah, I do all the cleaning in the gaff, but apparently I'm a sexist cunt.
Yeah, clearly.
Yeah.
Christ, I've completely forgotten who I was going to shout. Oh, yeah, I was going to say about Dave Travels Through Time. Can you go and like his channel, please? Like a few videos.
That's it. Go and check out his channel. Yeah, Dave
I'll
is
write the link in there, yeah.
of this channel. So go and check
Cool.
it out. And Daniel as well.
Dogpiled by a bunch of trolls.
Seeing he finally popped in, so don't forget to check out Daniel's channel.
Yeah, that's a good one as well. Yeah, see if I can find my list. It's around here somewhere.
He's got a list of YouTubers.
I got a list of all your favourites.
All my favourites.
There we go. Let's bung it in the chat. Yeah, if you guys could support Dave because he's getting dogpiled at the moment.
What's going on now?
About 5 or 6 people keep just downvoting his videos every
Oh,
time.
yeah.
People downvote my videos. All I'd say to you there is, Dave, they're just sad little
Turn it off,
individuals.
I'd say.
Pathetic.
I know. So
Crying
go
out
in,
loud.
subscribe. Chat could subscribe and go up a few of his videos, probably the last 3 months worth.
Yeah,
Take
he's
10
got a
minutes.
few
Be
videos
great.
as well, guys. So check them out. Yeah, check out Dave Travels Through Time. Yeah, it's the
trying
same 6 or 7 people that dogpile my chat. They're sad
Yeah.
little individuals with nothing better to do with their lives.
Yeah, it's just I just got a bit annoyed seeing it. Like, suddenly about 2 months ago, he started getting massively dogpiled.
So what the fuck? I mean, like,
They don't care. They don't care, right? And then
That's the wonderful chats with Dave on Facebook.
You probably see me latest tweets, but Mr. TARDIS doesn't
Oh,
like the
God.
fact that I compared them all to a party in the 1940s because they're all making lists.
They are.
Isn't it funny how they get all
Yeah, they are.
upset when they're called out on their bull? But they're going around compiling lists of who their worst YouTuber is and calling us not my Dr. Scum and all. And then when I say, oh, look at them making lists like certain party did in the 1940s, they lose their shit. They lose their shit.
That's all self-aware.
Yeah, it's like
Get that tweet taken down by Twitter and it didn't work. They're not going to take it down because I'm not breaking any rules. Right? If you actually think,
true
if
hurt.
you want to think whatever, right?
No, the old saying, the truth
I just
hurt.
made a comparison. I didn't actually call someone that word, but I just made a
Truth hurts.
comparison because there is a lot of parallels of what's going on in society that happened in the 1940s.
Yeah,
And
look, they're the ones who are into.
You're part of the problem.
They're the ones into controlling the narrative. They're the ones who are into the 21st century equivalent of book burning. They're the ones who are the ones seeking to control what people say, do, and think and feel. I mean, we're not the authoritarians here. We're not the ones trying to tell people what to do, what to say, what to think.
Yeah, it's quoting George Santayana, mate. Those who don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it.
Yes, and my God,
I've been saying that so many times over the past 5 years.
Right, lads, use a shout out there. I'm just cleaning down the kitchen counters, and by the time I'm finished, then we'll
Did you make something good though? Did you make something good for Cheryl?
What?
Did you make something good for Cheryl?
We had some No, I don't know what we had now.
That's
all right.
memorable.
Oh, yeah, we had soup. She had wild mushroom soup, and I had some bacon, leek, and potato soup. It was
Yeah.
nice.
I
Yeah.
had my own homemade teriyaki marinade earlier.
Nice,
I make it myself.
nice one.
I had a pot noodle.
No, you're gonna kill yourself, mate. No. Do I have to send you a big pot of my teriyaki marinade down?
Oh well, no complaints.
Yeah, I do a bit of Japanese cooking every once in a while.
Very nice.
When you hang around with a lot of Japanese people, you seem to pick up a few tricks. You know what I mean?
Well, be careful, you'll be cancelled for cultural appropriation or something like that.
I'm long
Lunatics.
past that. My 2 black belts, I'm long past being appropriated by the Japanese. I think they appropriated me, mate.
Excellent. Well, anyone else you want
No, I think that's about it. Just if you have people going, like a few of Dave's, upvote a few of Dave's videos because it's just ridiculous.
I mean, that's just
That'd be great. Anyone else been victimized at the moment in the chat?
Yeah, let us know.
Yeah, just let us know now.
We'll come and white knight the shit out of you. You can find me on Twitter, obviously, at the Golden Asda, AZDHA, and my other channel, Aldred Audiovisual. It's AUDRED, and that's it, really. Obviously, Rabbi's not here. Go and check him out. Rabbi from Another Planet, Ninja Knight.
Yeah. Okay, I'll do Ninja Knight now. I've got on the list. There we go. Ninja Knight. Ping, bang.
Yeah.
Ninja Knight's plugged.
Bish Bash Bosh. Or Beat Bop Boop.
He hasn't watched apparently in the last few weeks. So I did ask him on. He replied back to say that he wouldn't be much use because he hasn't seen in the last few weeks. I don't think he likes it too much, maybe, or maybe because he's but
he said he was awesome. He liked this episode of Star Wars.
Yeah, I don't know. So we'll have to.
No, it's Hanukkah. Remember, it's Hanukkah, so he's busy eating.
He's been busy.
Rabbi's busy filling his face.
Someone said the child will turn to the dark side. I can already see it happening. And I'm pissed off because.
Daniel says about a Bombay bad boy problem being.
No, definitely not. No,
you wimp.
No, it's horrible. Look, I want to taste the. Okay, I was going to say food, but that would be inappropriate. I want to taste what it is. I don't want to taste spice. I mean, it's just hot. I just don't understand it.
Chicken and mushroom.
Yeah, it would be chicken and mushroom.
I got a friend of mine who makes Naga chili sauce. It's the strongest thing I've ever tried.
Why?
You once did white ghost and almost threw up.
Bombay. I do like the Bombay.
Oh God! Yeah, when I was in the hospital, they were a godsend.
I like the Jamaican one. Did you ever try the Jamaican one?
There's a Jamaican one.
Yeah, there's a Jamaican pot noodle. It's Jamaica peri peri.
Oh,
peri peri one. Yeah.
Because peri peri is originally Jamaican. The Jamaican dish, so
and the Portuguese,
Brazilian, isn't it? Peri peri is Jamaican. Is
it's Portuguese.
Wow,
well, Brazilian is Portuguese.
Yeah,
it's Jamaican. Check it out. They've even got a Brazilian one as well, though. So they did loads. See, during a World Cup or a European Championship, pot noodle, they all get involved in it. So pot noodle come up with
because sports stars love eating pot noodle. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I tried the teriyaki pot noodle. It wasn't very good.
Yeah.
Didn't really taste
I can't believe we're talking about pot noodle, and on that bombshell,
on that Bombay mix shell.
Have you tried the soba noodle ones?
I'm not going there.
There's soba noodle pot noodles now.
Weird.
They're not bad. One of them's really nice. Teriyaki one didn't taste like much.
No, I like the
just dump my own sauce
that you buy, not pot noodle themselves now. But I like the noodle companies.
Coca noodles are actually the best.
Make an effort in their noodles, like you get the dehydrated vegetables and all, but you get proper spice and you get the proper stuff. Like, I got one. I forget the net brand.
Chicken ramen.
They do a Thai, green Thai noodle. Oh my God! Now I'm telling you, like I eat a lot of Thai green curry. Cheryl will tell you it's my favorite curry, right? This thing is as close as you can get to a Thai Korean curry than I've ever tasted in a pot noodle. Like, it's like a pot noodle, but it's not pot noodle. You get it in a local store here. It is beautiful. Beautiful. I love the noodles. I love it. Even when I order curry now out of the curry shop, I get a noodle box now. Because
I do love my noodles. I'm typically Japanese that way.
I grew up with a Chinese grandfather, so noodles were pretty much there on the menu.
Yeah, it's staple. Like potatoes are a staple for Ireland, noodles are a staple for.
And just to show how Chinese he was, he would save like the wet rice and use it as a glue for like stamps and things. So he'd like reuse stamps.
Yeah, you can do that. When you make Japanese swords,
yeah.
Sorry, no, what were you saying? So, I said when you're making Japanese swords, when you put the rice, you put rice paper on the suka or the hilt, you just use rice glue.
And he used to put like a pinhole in the top of an egg and drink it straight from the shell.
Yeah, I do like taste of raw egg for some reason.
Well, apparently, like because it comes through a tiny hole, and then you tuck it in. It's like alcohol.
Yeah,
to like alcohol.
Wow.
Right, lads, gonna have to finish it up there. We're at 12 midnight here, Irish time. And
it's 12 midnight here as well.
Funnily enough.
It's a new day. No, it's not yet. Not for another 6 hours. But there you go. But we're finished anyway. But tomorrow we have
40 days.
And don't forget to join us tomorrow. Remember, it's not limited to Doctor Who. There's plenty of it being going on there over the last week with stuff being announced and stuff. We've heard a lot. So you don't have to keep it strictly to Doctor Who. So if you want to talk any other pop culture stuff out there, you can. Right, we've done all the shout outs, haven't we? We have. I want to say thanks to all my moderators in the chat as well.
Oh, Matthew.
And everybody and everybody in the chat as well for taking part. And thank you to my panel.
Thank you.
That's all right, buddy. Anytime.
Someone says it's only 14 days to Christmas. You could shut up with that talk.
I know.
That's crazy.
I realized myself, Jesus Christ.
But I can't believe it. We're nearly near the new. Jesus Christ. Told you.
Yeah.
The new year.
Yeah.
You know what? My favourite posts are going to be coming up soon now.
Do you hear it's a new month? It's the 13th month this year.
After this weekend, right? After this weekend, you're going to see everybody sending posts that happy Christmas and a happy New Year. I can't wait for 2021, and then it ends up being the same as 2020.
It's the 13th month of 2020.
Save ourselves the embarrassment of those posts this year, right? Because if you think 2020 is going to be 2021 is going to be an improvement on 2020, just because you think there's a vaccine out there, you've got it all twisted.
Give it a couple of years, guys. Give it a couple of years.
2021 is when the shit really hits the fan, and you're going to see it for what it is. 2020 was a picnic compared to what's going to happen next year. So keep that in your mind when you're sending out your silly little I wish you the best for 2021. Keep it to yourself. Right.
I'm going to send you a big thing. I wish you the shittest year in 2021. No.
So keep those crap to yourself. You can wish me a Merry Christmas, but keep that New Year crap to yourself and wish me well.
Well, I wasn't going to wish you a Merry Christmas, but
tell you one thing, it's not going to improve for fucking me anyway. So, fuck that shit.
Say bah humbug.
Well, I'm not being bah humbug. It's not Merry Christmas, it's Happy Christmas. I'm only messing. Don't start that shit either. Right, I'm off. Thank you for joining us, folks, and we'll see you tomorrow for the TARDIS Zone Talks, and you can come on and you can have a little bit of a rant.
We'll see you on TARDIS Zone Talks as long as Noel's awake.
Yeah.
No late night streaming.
Yeah, you hear him. Right, with that, Lee will not be on the TARDIS Zone Talks. So come and join me. Right, good night, folks. I'll talk to you all tomorrow. The start of the weekend starts tomorrow here in the TARDIS Zone, so join us. Good night. Have a safe one. Bye bye.
Good night.